Hi, I'm Kris. I'm here with Megan today, and we're here with Andrea and Klaudia. We're going to talk about their service, which is Destination Home, which is one of the many services that plays part of the family of Changes Health and Wellbeing. So we're going to hand over to Meg, like we normally do. She's got a few questions, and we'll find out more about Destination Home and the wonderful work that it does.
Okay, so first things first, introduce yourselves and what you do at Destination Home.
Okay, so I'm Andrea and I am the Volunteer Liaison Officer.
And what does that mean for the viewers? What does that mean?
So we're hoping that some of the residents that we go and see will hopefully want to go on to volunteering, which will eventually lead on to full-time employment for them.
Oh, amazing. And you?
So I'm Klaudia and I'm a wellness coach for Destination Home as well. And what I do is there's sort of two sides of things. So one side is I do mental health awareness courses for staff that works with the residents. And the other side of things is just we're hoping again to prepare some little sessions for the residents on like well-being and motivation and things like that.
Amazing. Okay, so Andrea, do you want to tell us a little bit about what Destination Home is?
So Destination Home was set up sort of within the city to end homelessness. So it can be for various reasons. It could be simple as, like through the pandemic, lots of people lost their jobs, so which has had a knock-on effect that unfortunately a lot of people have lost their homes. So Destination Home will have set up some sort of accommodation for those people. But it could also be people that have been long-term rough sleeping. So it could have been in parks for a number of years, months, whatever. So we help everybody to gain some sort of accommodation.
And is it just Stoke-on-Trent?
Yeah.
Okay, and is it a new service?
Yeah, it's fairly new. It's sort of like within, say, the past year. But a lot of the residencies have only sort of been up and running about 3-4 months. So they're still kind of finding their feet and gaining residents every single week.
So how do you go about running the service, meeting these people? Do you go out onto the streets? How do you meet the people that need the support?
So every day we go to one of the residencies. So at the minute there's 4 on our books that we go and see.
And are they dotted about the city?
Yeah, there's a couple in Hanley, one in Stoke, one in Tunstall. And we spend an hour there with whoever wants to come in, chat to us. But over the past few weeks we've kind of discovered that it's really hard to engage with people. A lot of them are substance users, have got addiction problems, and I've got huge trust issues. So it's basically been a lot of sort of face showing and getting them used to seeing us about and telling them what we're about and what we can offer and why we're there.
We're starting to see the effects of that because we've been turning up week after week, same day, same time. You know, we are proving to them that we're not going anywhere, we're going to be here for you. So I think this trust starts to appear slowly and they slowly starting to engage with us, which is amazing. Like yesterday we had a really good day with some of the clients and we had a good chat with them and yeah, it was good.
So what have you both found hardest about your new roles so far?
That's a good question.
It is engaging with the people that we've like sent out to try and help. I think because most of them are substance users, that one week you might get them where they're absolutely brilliant and they're ready to engage and they'll talk and they'll share their whole life story with you. But the next week they'll have taken something and they're just completely out of it and don't want to talk to you and can be quite hostile at times. So yeah, we have been faced with some pretty like scary situations, or it can be a bit daunting. But those weeks where you have that little glimmer and you do talk to somebody, that I have spoken to other people that are in sort of similar services or within Concrete who we work with, that just say that's what you have to kind of hold on to, that you're gonna just get weeks and weeks off where certain people are just in and off and you just have to keep trying.
Yeah, I like that. And how do you find it managing your own mental health with that kind of inconsistency of people engaging and wanting your service and wanting to speak to you and then one week not?
I mean, it's something that you can take personally. definitely. And I think, you know, being a service user of changes before and everything else, I think I've learned a lot of, you know, those wellness tools and everything that I can put in place to look after myself as well. So you just have to be very sort of careful and not take things home and not take things too hard too much, and don't be sort of discouraged if people don't want to talk to you or anything like that, because it's just, I think it comes with the job at times, because it is a bit challenging, but
Yeah. What about you? How do you look after your own mental health?
So it's similar, so you've got your wellness tools that you've built up over the years, but there are things in place, so if we are ever faced with some difficulty that somebody might have taken somewhere and it might not have agreed with them at that time and they could be really struggling, that we've always got sort of things in place to protect ourselves anyway.
And how many people do you work with? I'm trying to get a picture of what this service looks like.
Well, the biggest building that we go in is in Stoke, and they have 68 residents.
Wow.
So, although we haven't actually engaged with a lot, because I think quite predominantly the most of them are on some sort of substance.
Yeah.
But they range from 18 to 78, and they're men and women.
Wow. So is there kind of a more dominant age range you're finding, or is it quite spread out?
Spread out, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And when you are engaging with these people, is there kind of any common themes of why they got into this situation, or how they find themselves here?
A lot of people, I mean there is a lot of things that people have a very hard start in their lives when they were growing up, and I think that keeps coming back quite a lot from the clients, that there were some situations or some really bad events in their lives that have influenced the way they are at the moment, and things have just sort of spiraled, and I think that's the main thing that keeps coming back quite a lot. And then over the years, you know, because things have been so hard and they didn't have much support, or it was difficult to get that support, I think that's why the lack of trust comes from as well. Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast the other day with Oprah, and she was on about this doctor that she was talking to, going off on a bit of a tangent as usual, and she said the moment I stopped asking why people were the way they are, or why you like this, or what's wrong with you, the moment I started saying what happened to you, she started getting breakthroughs with people, because there's always something that happened. I found that quite interesting.
And I think just to add to that, I think we see it in a way, like our roles, you know, going there and talking to those people, trying to get them engaged. I think one of our main responsibilities is to give those people a bit of hope.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, I've noticed, again, we both noticed talking to them, they've lost that hope. They sort of giving up slowly on things. So we just want to give that spark back to them, so it sort of starts something good.
It sounds like quite an amazing service, doesn't it?
It is. We are hoping to sort of get more engaged, so we've come up with some sort of new ideas that we're feeding back to the customers and the residents in the buildings, and they all seem really positive. So we're hoping to sort of get a bit more structure in, and not just go, right, we're here on a Wednesday 2 till 3, come chat to us if you want. We've sort of said, well, we might start doing some walks, some sort of craft activities,
cooking, baking, things like that.
And then sort of set up a timetable, so then they know on this date, on this day and time, we are doing this. So if they're interested in that thing, they might be then more inclined to come and talk to us, instead of just come and tell all your life story. Is a bit kind of daunting to somebody that you don't really know.
And do the residents have a lot of people coming in and out? Are you just like the only two kind of wellbeing support, or is there loads of people in and out?
There's lots of different services involved.
Yeah.
Some have got sort of mental health nurses involved, other outside agencies, but a lot just don't want to engage with services anymore.
Yeah. And do you find that kind of you get that wall when you walk in, that another service, I don't want to... Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know what Changes is about, or they've heard a different story of what we're about, or as soon as they hear the words mental health, it's like, that's it.
Yeah, no thanks.
I haven't got mental health, what are you talking to me for? Yeah, it's challenging. So we're kind of going away from just saying we're dealing with mental health to just your wellness in general.
Yeah.
You as a person, what you're struggling with, what you like.
And how are you bringing in kind of the changes ethos into this service? Because I do think changes is quite friendly, approachable, family-like feeling, and I think that's quite different to some services, and I think it's hard sometimes, even like working here, isn't it, to break that wall down, to go, no, we really do just want to be here for you.
I mean, what we do is we do everything we can to be very approachable and to go in there and go with a smile on our face and don't put any pressure on them. Just go in and say, oh, how's your week been? How are you? You know, what you getting up to? And we try to, not to go out there with, asking them lots of questions or filling in some forms and things like that. We try to keep it as friendly and casual as possible. And again, that, like you say, that's what change is all about, making you feel welcome and safe and, just nice.
Like you hear some stories that are shocking. Some of their life stories and the things that they've gone through, you can't sit there with the face of like, so you just have to go in completely non-judgmental and just like, whatever you're coming to me today with, I'm going to listen and I'm going to take on board and work with you for whatever you want to do.
And I think just to add to that as well, we don't, like you say, not being judgmental and whatever, because those people, a lot of them have made some wrong choices. And again, it's something that we wouldn't personally do, but again, we don't go and say, oh, you're doing that wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing drugs, obviously they shouldn't, but we don't go them telling them off. And I think that's another thing that's quite important, because some other services or agency might be like that.
And has there been any moments where kind of any of the residents have said to you, like, you're the first person that I've kind of opened up to, spoke to? Have you had any really nice moments like that so far?
I haven't had a resident that said that to me, but a member of staff has said that's the first time that person's opened up, and I've been with her now for 5 months, and that's the most I've ever heard her talk. And I think it's because we're sitting there and we're not sort of chipping in all the time, and we don't feel the need to respond with everything they're saying. And it's just being there and being open, and not being judgmental and not sort of raising your eyebrows at some of the things that you do here, and just listening.
I do think that's what's special about Changes People. That's what I'm going to call is Changes People. It is the more simple approach that works, I think. Just being open, genuine, kind and non-judgmental, I think can work absolute wonders. It does.
You've started the collection of toiletries and basic items for some of the residents. How can people get them to you if anybody watching wants to make a donation?
You can bring them to the Changes head office. We've got a good collection going on at the minute.
And what sort of items are you looking for?
So anything like toiletries, shower gels, shampoos, toothbrushes, but also like things that like more self-care kind of things, so like for ladies and men, face masks and maybe some aftershave for the guys, or I don't know, nail polish, anything like that.
I like that, because your normal instinct would be like your basic sanitary hygiene, but you're like, no, actually we want to make you feel nice. Not just clean and hygienic and that little bit extra. I love that. I'm definitely going to be searching my drawers and bringing loads in. An excessive amount of face masks.
Everybody gets those bath sets that you get at Christmas that are filled with all the little tiny toiletries, and they sit on your bathroom shelf and are
for about 10 years.
Because you don't really have a bath, do you? That's like a luxury kind of thing. And I guess all these people that we're coming into contact with, the self-care has kind of gone out of the window a lot of the time, and they haven't got the confidence in themselves, and they've kind of lost their identity a bit. So now that they've got this accommodation that's sort of their base, that they've got the sort of opportunity to do these things, and it's sort of a way for us to approach them and go, here's a little bag from Changes with a little note inside that says, we're here on these days and times, come and have a chat.
Oh, I love that. Like, just a little pamper, and I know I'm a bit of a prima donna, but a bit of a pamper can be transformative. Like, if I'm not feeling good, I will have a pamper and I'm like, oh, great, the world is put to rights again, I feel good. Yeah, I love that. If anybody watching this video knows someone who's rough sleeping or needs a bit of support, how do they contact you?
Tap Concrete,
Okay.
first off. There is other services about what we work with Concrete. There's lots of posters sort of dotted about all the place where you take off one of them little tear off slips. So if you do know anybody, they just ring the number.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll put the number
Put all
and
that
the,
information
and the
on.
link. Yeah.
Amazing.
So, other than going into the residencies, what other sort of support do you offer to people?
So we've got people in the community as well as the residencies, so they do have their own accommodation all throughout the city. So because they're living on their own, the only sort of support that they can get at the minute is one-to-one phone support. But the residencies in the buildings can also ring us as well, for just one-to-one calls every week, just to check on how they're doing. Because they can't always get to this end of the city, especially like we've got people sort of Feggays way and out in the sticks that they might not be able to get to us easily. So it's just a way to reach out to them, and there are quite a few number of buildings and properties that they've got. So it's reaching everybody.
Okay, so just want to say thank you to Meg for questioning, and to Claudia and to Andrea. And if anybody wants to get in touch with the team, we'll pop the contact details in the information that goes with the video. So thank you and goodbye.